Next is some tourist wobbled. Subject is, has Bryan Danielson been exposed? A few months ago, when word leaked online that Danielson and CM Punk were coming in AEW, the fans acted like it was going to be the second coming of the glory days of the Monday Night War. Cut to months later in AEW ratings with Punk and Danielson on the roster, ratings are now back down below 1 million. It's the same old, which I predict will happen next year when Owens and Zayn join AEW. My question for Konnan and Disco is, has Danielson been exposed? In WWE, he seemed to have personality. In AEW, he seems to be just some guy on TV. Say whatever you want about some of the wrestlers that WWE has, but they're all characters to make you want to watch. And has AEW brought out the boring in Danielson? He didn't bring an audience with him anyway. No, I'm just saying that what they've done with Danielson is that they're just hot-shotting him for matches, which they think are going to be good matches, and they think good matches are going to draw. But these guys need to do episodic soap opera storytelling, and none of them are in any angles like that yet. And when they do, trust me, the ratings will go up as people get involved in a progressive storyline. But they're not doing that right now. They're doing nothing really. They're just wrestling matches, and everybody's like, "Wow, bro?" You know, a show is going to be in the ratings, right? When nobody's really talking about any of the angles or anything. All they're talking about is like, "Wow, what a masterclass this was! This match was awesome." And it's like, you're telling people, because here's the thing. This is a way to get people like to build numbers. Is if you do something on TV that was like really good, and like it's a short clip, it's like 2 minutes long, it was a promo or something, and you can just look at it and get up to date on it. But the stuff that you guys think is good is like great matches. It's like, well, I missed it. It's like, oh, it was just 15 minutes. Like, I don't have 15 minutes to watch a great match. It's too much of my time. I want the 2-minute clips. Show me a couple of the, and they're not doing that. All their highlights right now are be like, oh, watch this match with Punk, and how this is a great match. Eddie Kingston and Danielson was so awesome. And so it's like, okay, but this is fine. It's like 50 minutes out of my life I didn't get, and I'm not going to invest back in because I've seen a lot of great matches in my life, and I don't need to see another one. So what do you think?
Yeah, me too. I like great matches, but I'd rather be into a great storyline.
And it's hard. It's far more difficult when you're watching a match. Far more difficult to watch it when you're watching the show. Like, if you miss the show and say, go back and watch that match. I'd like to point out that this would be interesting. Anybody that listens to the show, that when we do our show reviews, when Konnan says, hey, if you want to go watch this match like SmackDown, this is a match you should watch it. How many of you people actually go back and watch the matches? I'd like to know that number. Like, the people that actually do when you say this was really good,
I can say just real quick, as a fan and someone that was real excited when those guys came in, because they were two of my favorites in WWE, and Punk was gone for so long, and Bryan missed time, and it was just good to see them both back on TV and in the ring. So you guys know, for the first few weeks, I was a little bit more into it than I am now. I went to the show, and now if I see them on the card, it's not as exciting at all because it's not going anywhere yet. Danielson versus Kingston, that sounds great. That's two of my favorite guys on the roster, but I know what it is. It's just going to be a match.
It was built up by a 60-second promo they did in the locker room, and they went and had the match, and it's done.
And now they're going to do Punk and Kingston just the same way.
Are they really?
Yeah, because after the match, Kingston was shoving Punk backstage for being in his way or some shit.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing.
That's the next match.
Yeah,
bro. I mean, come on. They're booking like the bare minimum of booking angles for these guys to work matches.
You think the problem is that there's space between pay-per-views, like 3-4 months, and so he takes it real slow. You know what I mean? Instead of having 3 weeks or 4 weeks of TV to build up a pay-per-view, he's got 13 or 14. That's a lot longer time to try to stretch things out.
Yeah, but what are they building up?
Page and Omega.
That's been building up for like a year. It's like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess
Page doesn't seem like Page does not seem like the flavor of the week right now.
Well, Punk and Bryan might kind of
built this whole long-term storytelling arc.
Yeah.
With Page, and then it's like in the heart of it, Page, I guess, what do you get, his girl pregnant or something like that, or they had a kid, and then all of a sudden Punk and Bryan Danielson were on the scene.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's like, so Page went like from number 1 contender, like number 3 contender.
Right.
And they're still trying to book him as like the number 1 contender.
I think not that they want to just dump the story, but I think they want to get that story out of the way so then Punk and Bryan can be...
Well, I'm sure they do, but it's like, I mean, honestly, bro, the story should be right now is Punk should call out Page, why is this guy the number 1 contender? One of those two guys. It's like, why is this guy the number 1 contender? He's a drunk. It's a good promo for Punk to cut on this guy.
Yeah, if he wants to turn the crowd.
This guy's a drunk. It would be good, That's what they should do. They should okay, this guy's the number one contender for Kenny Omega's title. The gimmick right now is Punk says, I want to wrestle for the title. Well, why is AEW promoting a drunk in a title shot? That'd be a good kickstart to this angle.
It'd be really good.
Do you agree with that, Konnan? Is what I just said? Is that a booking idea that piques your interest?
Not really.
Yeah, figures. Okay, let's say this. Let's say they have this Punk says, I want to have a match with Adam Page, but it's going to be Lucha Rules. Would you be more interested?
Yes.